For some analysis, let's turn to Mike Boyd. He's the president of Boyd Group International, a multidimensional aviation research and consulting firm. So, Mike, where do investigators even begin putting the pieces of this together to find out how something like this can even happen?
Well, they're going to be looking at where that Dash 8, the turboprop that the big airplane hit, where it was coming from, who was flying it. My guess would be the airplane, the A350, was cleared to land, and the other airplane got in the way. The real message here, though, is it's pretty safe to fly Japan Airlines, because I used to be a flight attendant. I had flight attendant departments. To get almost 380 people off of a burning jumbo jet and have no injuries other than the slides themselves, that's an incredible airline. So we have a safety issue there that's good, but we also have something wrong at Haneda when you have a runway incursion such as this.
Yeah, that was my next question, and you partially answered it. The fact that this is so remarkable when you see those images and more than 300 people evacuated safely. But the crew of these types of planes are very well trained for things like this, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, a flight attendant, say at Japan Airlines, American Airlines, British Airways, when something happens, they become robots. They know what to do right away. They don't think about it. They just do it. They go into action. That's exactly what happened with this A350. And Japan Airlines should be pretty proud of their crew right now.
So, Mike, what do you think goes on inside the cockpit when something like this happens? How much communication is there between the pilot or the co-pilot, the flight attendants, and then the passengers?
Well, the crew in the cockpit is the same as the flight attendants. When this happens, everything goes out the door in their minds, and they're focused entirely on safety. As this cockpit crew was, there were two of them up there, I assume. They knew what to do. So the fact is, the safety procedures work. They're always in place. They train on this, train on this, train on this, and and again, keep in mind, a lot of these pictures I've seen of people inside the cabin, it wasn't total chaos. They were moving pretty quickly to know where to go. So I think, again, we're very thankful about the lack of any major injuries. But again, how did that Dash 8 turboprop get on the runway?
And in general, Mike, how common, I mean, obviously plane collisions are not very common, but near collisions we've seen time after time. How do we prevent that from even getting that close?
Well, yeah, I can only really speak for the USA, where we really don't have any leadership at the FAA that's really doing anything other than forming committees and panels and things like that. But we've had a number of close calls very much like this that could have turned into this had the crews involved not taken action, as did happen in a sense with Japan Airways or Japan Airlines. Fact is here, we do have this here. It's not being addressed in the US, and this is a real wake-up call to the folks in Washington.
So you think if something like this had happened in America, the outcome would have been different?
No, I think if it was a major airline like American Airlines, United, or whoever, the outcome probably would be very much the same in terms of the response by the crews. But the fact of the matter is, it hasn't happened here yet. I hope it never does. But we have had close calls that are unexplainable and inexcusable. And frankly, I'll be real blunt, the people at the top of the FAA they're more involved in committees than they are in taking action.
Talk about the safety record for this Airbus. This was the Airbus A350-900. I
think this is probably the first major accident with the A350-900. It's a relatively new airplane, a beautiful airplane. So I mean, it's safety-wise, the airplane hadn't had a problem. And in this case, obviously, the airplane itself didn't have a safety problem, at least until it hit something else. I am concerned about how did the cabin get on fire that much? What's burning in that cabin? It isn't jet fuel. So I think they're going to be looking at that too to, again, improve A350s and other airplanes in terms of fire in the future. So we'll get some benefit out of that.
And Mike, finally, if this crash, this collision, I should say, had happened years ago, would we have seen the same kind of dramatic rescue with no fatalities? My point, I guess, what I'm trying to ask, are planes nowadays made better and made differently from, let's say, 20 years ago?
Well, of course they are. I mean, because every accident we learn from. And again, the big thing here is slides. Slides get you off the airplane, but if you're going to evacuate a couple hundred people, someone's going to fall off or whatever. They've worked very hard on those things too. But yeah, procedures in terms of moving large people off of it, large numbers of people, that's improved over the years. And carriers like Japan Airlines, American Airlines, British Airways, they're on board.
All right, we'll leave it there. Mike Boyd, thank you very much.